KCDC San Antonio. Former and current Rock the Mic champs Michael.
What is up, San Antonio? What is going on, South Texas? This is the Sunday Sports Grill on 1250 ESPN, 94.5 FM, and we're on the go at ESPNSA.com. My name's Michael Jimenez, former Rock the Mic champion number 4, joined by our reigning Rock the Mic champ, number 5, Quinn Hudson.
Champ is here. Champ is here, baby.
That's right, baby. Defending.
Hype. I got 7 reasons why I'm hyped today, baby. Game 7. That's why.
Lots to talk about today. Having a fun time. Dude, you and I have had a lot of radio time this week.
Yeah, it's been great.
We filled in for Rob and Jason on the Blitz a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
Got to play with James Pledger.
Oh, I am, man. I'm text messaging the significant others, man. I'm hoping that Rob and Jason got more stuff to do. I hope they got more stuff, man. Let us in. Let's get it. Let's shine in their light.
Oh,
nice.
Man, it has been so much fun this past week being on the air as often as we've been. Lots to talk about today. Now, the Sunday Sports Grill goes from 11 to 1. We talk about all things pop culture, sports, pop culture, things that are nostalgic, right? Things that speak to us. I mean, we had a conversation the other day about the best Will Ferrell movies, and that was mind-boggling because it took forever for us to narrow it down to 3, right?
Yeah, speaking to his greatness.
But today on Sports Topics, hey, is it possible that James Harden being injured is a good thing for the Brooklyn Nets? Are they better off without him? We're also going to be talking about one of the world's greatest golfers, one of the best golfers in the world right now, how devastated he was last night after he yanked from a tournament. It's a crazy end to his weekend. And should Spurs fans be happy that LeBron is gone and no longer in the playoffs? But first, we got some breaking news, man. It's very rare that we have breaking news coming out at 11 o'clock on a Sunday, but it looks like Julio Jones, future Hall of Fame wide receiver, is gone. He has been traded, or at least it's on the move, to the Tennessee Titans. Adam Schefter is reporting on ESPN that we're looking at a second-round draft pick, possibly a 5th on top of that, or a swap of picks. Trying to figure it out. Also need to make sure that he passes the physical and things like that. But Quinn, what do you think about this move?
Oh, I think it's great. Great move for the Tennessee Titans. As you look at what Tennessee has done over the past 2 seasons, they've been right there in the cusp of being a competitive team, a contending team, but didn't necessarily have all the pieces. I think Tannehill is an above average quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback that puts the team on his back, but he is absolutely not a detriment to an offense. So you have an elite running game mixed in now with an elite receiver and a stout defense. I believe Tennessee propels himself into a top 3 of the AFC.
Oh, I absolutely agree. You mentioned the running game and whatnot. Quarterback being Ryan Tannehill, he's a decent quarterback. I mean, he's not elite or anything like that, but he is a serviceable quarterback. Derrick Henry at running back is outstanding. The guy is just amazing. And when you add the fact that they have A.J. Brown on the other side of Julio Jones, that's not a bad combo there. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, what happened to Corey Davis? Corey Davis was a good wideout for Tennessee. Well, he left this offseason, signed a 3-year deal with the New York Jets, so he is gone. But, man, look at these stats for Julio Jones. 10 years in the league, 12,896 yards, and 60 touchdowns. And it's not like he's lost gas. His stats were down last year, a little bit of an injury. But then again, I think he has a better quarterback in Ryan Tannehill than he did in Matt Ryan. A lot of people still believe in Matt Ryan. I'm not a big believer. I think the Falcons should have moved on from him a couple of years ago. But I think there's still some gas in the tank when it comes to Julio.
I agree 100%. I believe the problem with Atlanta last year collectively was just the team as a whole underperformed. They had a lot of injuries mixed in with the fact that their defense took a dive. Their running back core was not healthy. They did not have all the pieces in place, and Julio Jones also wasn't healthy all season. So you had all of these things as a culmination. But when you look at Tennessee, one thing you're not going to do you're not going to drop a safety down into the box to try to help against Derrick Henry.
Right.
Not when you got Julio Jones out wide. So now they're going to have to play them honestly. Tannehill's going to have a good lay of the land when he walks up to under center and see exactly what the secondary is doing. And he's going to be like, how do you want it? How do you want it? Between the tackles or over the top, baby, because it's coming. And I do believe they're going to be a physical hit you in the mouth team and hit you over the top too, which is going to make them a dual threat on offense.
The good news for the Atlanta Falcons is that they cannot be criticized by their own fan base over what happened. They can't. Because typically when a fan favorite leaves or a star leaves, future Hall of Famer who's been with the team for 10 years, typically when they leave and they're still good, you get blowback from fans. But Julio Jones, whether it be, being out front with it or secretly, let it be known that he didn't want to play there anymore. We saw those photos where he was wearing Dallas Cowboys gear.
Yep.
That's not what you do when you're a professional player. You do not wear another team's colors. And that's not to say that he wanted to play for the Cowboys, but I think that was a signal. He had to have known that someone was going to recognize him. He had to have known that someone was going to want to take a picture of him. Why take that risk if you didn't think otherwise?
Yeah, I agree. I think he was putting it out there. He was trying to, basically bear into reality. And first he, flirted with the idea, had a conversation with Russell Wilson, didn't dispute any of the alleged things that was out in the news. He didn't poo-poo and say, that's not true. I want to be a Falcon for life. He didn't do any of that kind of player speak. He left it out there, and I think he was playing for it, hoping to have a better team. And now he's definitely in a better situation at this time of his career.
Yeah, it is a better situation because Atlanta's rebuilding, and if he has 2, 3, 4, 5 years of good play in him, you don't want to do that while rebuilding. So Tennessee's a good place to be. It's going to be hard to get out of the AFC. The AFC is probably harder than the NFC these days, I believe anyway, because you have to get through Kansas City, you have to get through Baltimore, you've got to get through a resurgent Cleveland team. Pittsburgh sometimes is kind of lurking sometimes, just depending on their health.
Yeah,
Buffalo. I
think the Colts are going to be a force as well.
So it's a very, very hard AFC, but it's better than what the Falcons were going to be able to provide for him because that is destined to be a 4-13 team. Kind of weird to give out a record out there with 17 games, but that's what we're expecting. That's what we're doing this year for the first time.
Yeah.
Hey, other big story of the day. It's the greatest 2 words in sports. Game 7.
Let's go.
Game 7, baby. Clippers, Mavericks. We're finally going to figure out who is going to advance to the second round to the Western Conference semis. Here's the thing. I don't think either team deserves to go to the second round. I think both teams should be automatically eliminated right now for their performance in the first round. It has been entertaining, but come on, man. All 6 games won by the road team? That has never happened before to my knowledge. I don't think I'll ever see that again in my lifetime. Quinn, I'm going to ask you who you got. I know who you're rolling with, but who you got?
Okay, so a couple of things. And this is I'm in such a challenged situation because I'm a diehard Dallas Mavericks fan. That's my team. I've got Mark Aguirre jersey. I've got a Jason Kidd jersey that I can't fit. This is not Jason Kidd second, Jason Kidd 2.0. It's the original Jason Kidd. The Tony Braxton fighting with Jimmy Jackson. Yeah, that Jason Kidd. I believe that I'm going to ride with my Mavericks. I believe Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the NBA. I also picked the Clippers to unseat the defending NBA champion Lakers. So I picked the Clippers, believing this was going to be their year. They underperformed last year. I believe they were going to do it with playoff P. What I did not anticipate was my Mavericks going to come out in this series and jump on them in the first 2 games. What I did not anticipate was Luka Doncic was going to take this next step in his very early NBA career to say, hey, I'm ready for this challenge. Now here we are, Game 7. You've seen the chess matches being done by Ty Lue, Rick Carlisle. You saw the Clippers counter. They basically they sicked Kawhi. They said, Kawhi, be Kawhi. Paul George, you're not even taking a rest. You're going to play the whole game. And when Kawhi sits down, it's going to be your show. And it worked. So now, Luka tried to be the facilitator last game. He tried to be the facilitator, get everybody involved, to make the right basketball play. That's not what we need. We need Game 1 and Game 2, Luka. By any means necessary, I'm coming into that paint. By any means necessary, I'm going to eat in this paint. By any means necessary, you're going to bring people down. So I do believe it's going to play out the first time in NBA history. All road teams win, including Game 7. It's going to be the Mavs fans for life, baby. It's going down. Dallas winning tonight.
Oh my God, you are speaking like a fan, and that's great, man. Because that's the thing about sports is that you have to ride with your team. You can't say anything bad sometimes. I know you honestly, in your heart of hearts, believe that the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl this year because you are a Cowboys fan, and
It's our year.
It's our year every year, right? 26 years running, right? But man, I don't know what would it take from this series because you must have had a roller coaster of emotions just watching the series because the first two games, thinking to yourself, sweep, baby, sweep. We got both. Or at the very least, get a gentleman sweep, win in 5, right? And then when Kawhi came out and just went full on Kawhi mode in game 3, and it's like, okay, 2-1. Well, it's okay. It's okay. We'll win game 4. And then when it became a layup line of layup in game 4, where the Clippers were just in the paint repeatedly.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, well, okay, there's no way in the world the Mavericks are going to go back to Staples Center and win game 5. And magically, Luka has like the game of his life. Okay. Can't make a free throw to save his life right now. But other than that, he's doing well, right? And then you turn back around, game 6, you're at home. I told Pledger, and the odds of 6 road victories by a team in the playoffs, that doesn't happen. And it happened again. So who's going to win this game? Well, I have a hard time believing that the road team is going to win every game. So Quinn, I need for you to understand that your team is going to be knocked out of the playoffs today. Okay, 5:30 p.m. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that friend who reaches out to you and like rags on you or ask if you're on suicide watch or anything like that. Okay, but right now I'm taking a look at it. Vegas has this as a spread of 6.5 points in favor of the Clippers. So Vegas does not even think that the Clippers are just going to win. They think they're going to win big. Your thoughts?
I don't think the game is going to be close. I think either way, it is going to be blown open and it's not going to be close. I think something's going to give. Something is going to give. The Clippers are going to realize, oh my gosh, it's the same Mavericks that have come here and ate in our house 3 separate times. Or they are going to realize what you saw in game 6 is going to be the Kawhi show. The reason why Kawhi is the best player in the NBA is because he's that one player that doesn't matter what his number 2 does. If he's on his game, they can win. You can put him on the best scorer on the other team, and he can be the best scorer on the other team. There's no other person that can do that. KD can't do that. You got to count longevity and health is a part of that. Endurance comes with that. LeBron can't do that. Joker can't do that on the defensive end. Kawhi is the only person who can do that. So they're going to go as Kawhi goes tonight. But Luka gets 40, we get the win.
Mark it. 40 points.
40 points, baby.
I'm going to look at that. Okay.
Yes.
And Porzingis has to look at least mildly interested in the game.
Yeah. Can we not do the Chris Bosh Porzingis, show, put him over in the corner and wait for a ball to get kicked out to him? He's 7'3". He's got to eat in the paint. We cannot let them get away with Morris and Batum playing the 5 spot. This is disrespectful.
You know what's been the fun part about watching this series is seeing Tim Hardaway Jr. play. And not only that, when he does well, they go out and they look into the stands and you see Tim Hardaway Sr.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, that's, as a father, that's beautiful to watch, right? Seeing your son, like, that's my boy, right? Seeing your son out there do his thing. But as just a man itself, I'm like, man, I'm getting old because I used to cheer for Tim Hardaway Sr. and now cheering for Tim Hardaway Jr. is just so weird. I think he's going to be so big in this game because take a look. The 2 games that they won in LA, game 1 and 2, Tim Hardaway Jr. had 21 points and 28 points, wins. Home games, he had 12 and 4, loss. On June 2nd for game 5 in LA, played 45 minutes, had 20 points. The anomaly being he had 23 in game 6, but it kind of seems like that maybe Tim Hardaway Jr. might be a key to the game on top of the 40 points by Luka. So let's maybe say collectively they need to get 60.
Yeah, I mean, people thought Josh Richardson was going to be that guy, but it's turning out to be Tim Hardaway Jr. We're definitely going to have to. Luka's going to need help. They're going to need a perimeter shooter who can score and make the Clippers pay when they overcompensate with the defensive scheme to bracket Luka.
You know what's great about this as a Spurs fan? One of those teams is going to lose. As a Spurs fan, we know that, hey, at the end of the day, either the Mavericks, one of our biggest rivals, is gone, or Kawhi's gone. Either way, it's going to be a good day for a Spurs fan because one of those two gets knocked out.
Oh, yeah, the beer will be cold for Spurs fans today. No matter what, for sure.
Now, speaking of getting knocked out, James Harden got knocked out of the game. First minute of the game last night, Bucks and Nets. When we come back, let's talk about that game. That game, I thought it was a pretty good game, but an interesting point of view because I don't know your impression of this, but I'll give you my impression. I think that it's possible that the Nets might be better and stronger without James Harden. Let's talk about this. This is the Sunday Sports Grill on 1250 ESPN, 94.5 FM, and we're on the go at ESPNSA.com.
I don't know what happened. My
every day of the year.
my laptop just went dark, so I rebooted it.
Yeah, I could hear feedback from it. I don't know if it was still on or.
Yeah, but I rebooted it now. So, but I saw that there was a StreamYard that came out, a new one, at 11:02.
Right. So I'm realizing that Pledger has your links, which is why you didn't have it on this PC on the laptop. And so that's where the station audio feeds into that one. So Michael, if you can.
Yeah. So there's a new one at 11:02.
Yeah. So the recent one, Quinn, we'll go into that one.
Okay.
Michael, if you can leave this one that you're on,